Okay, well, the announcements are today. Bob Harbor's summer schedule, Thursdays 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. Thursday, June 25th, 2020. Thursday, July 9th, 2020. Thursday, July 16th, 2020. Thursdays in July. Bob Harbor Day Camp, July 20th to the 24th, Western theme, Avalanche Ranch. Ages kindergarten through 5th grade, drop off and restoration, 9:30 to 10 o'clock a.m., 10 o'clock a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. Day camp includes Bible learning, activities, recreation, snacks, art, projects, and music. Sign up on any Thursday Club Harbor Day or either Sunday worship or call work our ministries. Harbor Backpack Giveaway, July 25th, starting at 12 o'clock p.m. Bring your child to pick out their backpack full of school supplies. Child must be present to give a backpack, free clothes giveaway, and hot dogs. Jerusalem Presbyterian Church of, I have no all these names, Tennessee provides the backpacks and hot dogs. Wonderful blessing to our community. Youth Forward Reimage, June 25th through 27th, 2020. Harbor Youth will meet at Harbor Center. Watch on big screen. We provide snacks, light meals, and drinks for youth. July 4th, community outreach to be announced. July 10th through 11th, men's retreat location, Camp Morganton, Blue Ridge, Georgia. Live it out. Walk worth of the calling, Ephesians 4:11. Friday, 5 o'clock p.m. through Saturday, 12 o'clock p.m. and 2 o'clock p.m. Guest preacher at Harbor will be Josh Caldwell, July 12th. Family outdoor worship and picnic, Sunday, July 19th, 2020. Harbor worship starts at 10:30 a.m. Special music concert by Bill Zinner. Fellowship picnic after worship. Harbor Beacons, June 30th, 2020. Tuesday, 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. Adults fall fellowship and activities. Join us for a light lunch and bingo at Harbor Center. And we had 14 boxes also to give away to 36 people of food, so that was a good thing. And that'll be the end of the announcement. So next we're going to have a little presentation of Father's Day on the overhead. have a little gift up here for Father's Day. So, also, since we missed Mother's Day too, this is a gift for you too, so.
Please stand with us for worship.
I will praise
stand with us.
Kapali.
Ah
have your attention to the screen, we'll get started with today's message.
My name is Jack Caldwell, and for those of you who don't know me, I am the Director of Youth and Modern Ministries at Richmond Hill United Methodist Church, and I'm also Pastor Denise and Danny's son. So I am glad to be able to be speaking with you today, and I'd also like to say Happy Father's Day. I am honored to get to speak on this day, and I do want to give you a little warning before we really jump into this. I'm recording on my front porch. So we may have some cars go by, my neighbor has a rooster, there may be some times that some sounds come up. Just pretend like it's not happening and do your best to focus, as I will do my best to focus. But I'm honored to be speaking today on Father's Day. You know, for me, I know that I wouldn't be who I am today without my wonderful father that I had growing up, Danny. You've had the honor of getting to hear him preach the past couple of weeks, but he was a tremendous part of my life, one of the reasons why I am like I am today. And I wouldn't be here without, Papa Jack, who was an amazing father to my mom and a great grandfather. And there are many men in the church and other men in my life who have been father figures that I am so thankful for. And so, today, whenever we're talking about Father's Day, it kind of makes me think about whenever I first found out I was going to be a father. I have 2 kids right now. I have a 5-year-old girl named Izzy and a almost 3-year-old boy named Brady. And I also have a beautiful wife. Just make sure to mention her. But whenever I was first finding out that I was going to be a dad, I was a little nervous. I don't know, all the dads in the room might be able to attest. I was a little nervous about being a good father. And so, I decided to ask some dads out there, hey, what's some advice for being a good father? And I got all kinds of stuff in my asking. Some people, said, oh, you need to make sure you teach your kid how to fish, which, but we're working on that. I was like, okay. Some said, make sure they learn how to hunt. I'm a horrible hunter. I really can't help there. I had some people say, well, make sure that you don't let your kids see you cry. And then I had other people say, well, make sure that your kids see you cry. There was a lot of advice out there. I remember my dad, often when I was growing up, one thing he said to me a lot about being a dad was, it's about quantity over quality. And what he meant by that was that, a lot of people say, well, it doesn't matter if I have a lot of time with my kids, just as long as it's good time. And he said, that's not true. You need to be spending a ton of time, most of your time with your kids, because your time shows where your value is. And that's something that I tried to apply to my life. But, there was a ton of stuff out there about how to be a good father. And so today I decided that I wanted to take a look at a father-son trip that's in the Bible. And us look at this story because I believe this story shows us how we as fathers can be the best fathers possible. So if you don't mind, we're going to jump into God's Word. We're going to be jumping into Genesis chapter 22, starting at verse 1, and we're going to read a lot of this chapter. So don't worry. But you go ahead and get your Bibles out, get your phones out, whatever you have. I'll also make sure to put the scripture on the bottom of the screen here for you. But here we go. So this is a story about Abraham and Isaac. Now, if you don't know who Abraham is, Abraham was the person that God looked down and saw that he wanted to build his people through. And he made a covenant with Abraham. And he told him, hey, I'm going to give you lots of descendants. There are going to be a lot. You're going to be a great nation through you. Now, the only problem with this was Abraham, one, at this time was already pretty old. He was married, but he didn't have a son. His wife was barren. And so how can you be made a great nation, especially back then, when a nation was a people group that were all related? How do you become a great nation if you had no kids? And so God promised him he would have a kid. And lo and behold, when he was 100, when Abraham was 100 years old, that's when he had a kid. And so he was really old, but God gave him this thing, the one thing he didn't have, one thing he needed to be a great nation. And so that's where we start out here, is that it's Abraham, his son, his name is Isaac, and through Isaac, Abraham has been promised by God that he was going to do great things. All right? So there we go. That's our setup. Let's jump in. Genesis 22, verse 1. It says, sometime later, God tested Abraham's faith. Abraham, God called? Yes, he replied, here I am. Take your son, your only son, yes, Isaac, whom you love so much, and go to the land of Moriah. Go and sacrifice him as a burnt offering on one of the mountains which I will show you. Okay? Now you may be thinking, you don't read the Bible much, you're thinking, say, what in the world? God told him he was going to make him a great nation. He finally gives him a son. He loves his son so much, and then suddenly God is calling him to place his son on the altar to sacrifice to him. Let's keep going, because I know that might, I don't know if it shakes you, but it kind of shakes me a little bit. Okay, what is God doing here? Verse 3. The next morning, Abraham got up early. He saddled his donkey and took two of his servants with him, along with his son, Isaac. Then he chopped wood for the fire for a burnt offering and set out for the place God had told him about. On the third day of the journey, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. Stay here with the donkey, Abraham told the servants. The boy and I will travel a little further. We will worship there, and then we will come right back. So Abraham placed the wood for the burnt offering on Isaac's shoulders, while he himself carried the fire and the knife. As the two of them walked together, Isaac turned to Abraham and said, Father? Yes, my son, Abraham replied. We have the fire and the wood, the boy said. But where's the sheep for the burnt offering? Isaac, no dummy, he sees that there's something missing, right? At this point, we don't know that Isaac, if he knows or not, if Abraham told him what was going on. Obviously he didn't, because he's asking about it. So he's looking around going, our offering's not here. What are we going to do? And I love Abraham's response. He says, God will provide a sheep for the burnt offering, my son. Abraham answered, and they both walked together. Can you imagine what Abraham was feeling as a father? That he trusted God, and God sent him to go sacrifice his son. And that whole ride, and you don't get anywhere fast. 3 days later, he finally sees the place in the distance. He can wait no longer. He's about to have to sacrifice his son to God. Can you imagine that? Let's keep going. When they arrived at the place where God had told him to go, Abraham built an altar and arranged the wood on it. Then he tied his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. And Abraham picked up the knife to kill his son as a sacrifice. He's done everything thus far. He's got all the way to the point. He's raising the knife to take his son's life. At that moment, the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham. Yes, Abraham replied, here I am. Don't lay a hand on the boy, the angel said. Do not hurt him in any way, for now I know that you truly fear God. You have not withheld from me even your son, your only son. Now, what's awesome to me is whenever you think about this, it's, this is Abraham's faith being tested. But what did Abraham put on that altar? Abraham didn't put on the altar, well, he put on his son. But it was more than just his son. he put on the altar the most important thing in his life in the world. He put on the altar what was most important to him. He gave it up for God. He was prepared to give it up. Killed his son for it. Okay? Let's keep going. Verse 13. Then Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught by its horns in the thicket. So he took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering in place of his son. Abraham named the place Yahweh Yireh, which means the Lord will provide. To this day, people use that name as a proverb. On the mountain of the Lord, it will be provided. Then the angel comes back, verse 15. Then the angel of the Lord called again to Abraham from heaven. This is what the Lord says. Because you have obeyed me and have not withheld even your son, your only son, I swear by my own name that I will certainly bless you. I will multiply your descendants beyond number, like the stars in the sky and sand of the seashore. Your descendants will conquer the cities of their enemies. And through your descendants, catch this, all of the nations of the earth will be blessed, all because you have obeyed. Now, in this story, you as a dad might be thinking, okay, so Abraham had killed his son for God, but God saw him. There's sometimes I really, I'm upset with my kids. I may want to, be mad at them or yell at them or something. I've never gotten to the point where I want to kill them. And here's the point. Here's the value that I want you to look at this. What God was doing is he was making sure Abraham was in the best position to be able to do what's best for his son and for ultimately the rest of the world. And how he checked that was he took what was most important to Abraham and he asked him to give it up. He asked him to make sure to see that God was first in his life. As a dad, the best way for you to be a dad, the very best dad that you could possibly be to your children, is for you to make sure that nothing comes between you and God. Nothing. Now, this is something interesting because as dads, we often feel a lot of roles. We feel that, in some households, the dad feels like, I need to be the breadwinner. I need to make the money. In some households, the dad feels like, I need to be the disciplinarian. In some fashions, we think, okay, to be a good dad, I got to make sure that my kid's the best at this sport or gets that or gets all they want. No, to be the best dad you can be, we got to put God first. And then everything else works out after that. If you look at what Abraham's story is, now, the promise is not to us. So when I read this, it's not saying, oh, you supply to you, and you do this, and you make sure to sacrifice, and God will make your descendants the same, more than the number on the seashore. No. That promise is to Abraham and his people. And ultimately, Jesus would come out of that line, and the whole world would be blessed through Abraham's descendants. Absolutely. But for us, what we need to look at is right here in verse 18. And I want you to look at the point of this. It says, through all your descendants, all the nations of the earth will be blessed. And it says, here's why. All because you have obeyed me. All because you have made me first, the highest priority. When we put God the highest priority in our lives, everything else that matters will fall into place. It doesn't mean it'll be easy. It doesn't mean that it'll be quick. It doesn't even mean that all the time it will be fun, exciting, and all that. No. What it means whenever we put God first, that as dads, we are setting ourselves up to do absolutely what's best for our kids. But it works for moms too, okay? It works for moms too because the best thing that a mom can do for her kids is to make God the number one priority. And you know what? Guess what? It's what's best for anybody. It's what's best for our world. And it's this. And this is the truth, is that whenever we make God the number one priority, whenever we do that, we are relying on the most reliable. We are relying on the power and the strength of God. And that means we're going to make decisions based out of what God will think. We're going to make choices based on how God is reflected. When God is the most important thing, we're going to put aside our stuff. We're going to put aside what matters most to us and put in God mattering most. And so on this Father's Day, as I think about it, and I look at the story, I think about that we have a God who loved us enough to send Jesus so that he could make right the relationship. He loved us enough to send Jesus so that we would have a pathway to be with him. He loved us enough that he would give us his word written down in 66 books, that we would be able to know what he says and what he thinks and what he feels and what his commandments are. That we'd be able to know that our best life comes through him, through obeying him, through putting God first. I know this is easy to say and difficult to do. It is something we have to do daily. You know, if you think about it, we all kind of, as followers of Christ, you have at some point in time in your life decided to follow Jesus. You know, as a follower of Christ, we each have days where we take God out of the number one spot, put something else in. It's a daily thing we have to remind ourselves each day. Okay, you know what? I want to be the best person I can be today. How can I do that? I can rely on the one who created me. I can live the way that the one that created me made me to live. It's how we become the best teacher that we can be. It's how we become the best postal worker we can be. It's how we become the best stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home dad. It's how we become the best student we're made to be. It's about making sure to keep God first. It may be hard sometimes. Life is hard right now. We're in a pandemic. You know, we have racial unrest in our nation. We have places and situations that we're completely uncomfortable. God never said it wasn't going to be, God never said it was going to be completely comfortable. In fact, he said it was going to be not comfortable. He said you're going to meet trials and temptations. You're going to face hardship. But the best life we got, the best thing we need, is for us to each day wake up and remind ourselves, okay, what's my number one priority in my life? Who takes up the number one spot? Is it God? To be the best dad we're going to be, we can be. We've got to make sure God's in the number one spot. To be the best mom we want to be, we've got to make sure God's in the number one spot. To be the best human we are to be. To be the best version of ourselves that God created us to be. Pray. Father God, I pray today and every day as we wake up in the morning that we remind ourselves that we need to keep you first. God, I pray right now that you show us in our lives where we are putting in the rank of most important. God, I pray that you open our eyes and our hearts to see things that we put in front of you. God, I pray specifically for the dads today. God, that they know that they are, it's so important that they have such a tremendous job for you. God, I pray that they know that the best way for them to live a life for you, make a difference for you, is to put you first. Help me, God, each day to wake up and remind myself that you are my number one priority. You are my first love. You're the only one who can make me be the best I can be. I pray all this in your holy precious name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you for letting me speak to you today. Happy Father's Day. God bless.
for our invitation song. Today, in honor of Father's Day, we're going to be singing Good, Good Father as our invitation song. Thank you so much for joining us at Harbor this morning. Please be safe on your way home, and we hope you have a blessed week.
still on this planet, so we still have father duties for me, parental duties, whether they're my children or not. One day, we'll bring us home. But until then, we still have responsibilities we want us to commit to. We do. And each day, let us strive to be your children. And each day, let us remember that it is a new day. And if we were not successful yesterday, we can be successful today. I ask for all the things that you grant us in life to be in line with what you want for us, and to love us and let us know